Hello, this is Hannah with Hannah Crafted Gifts, and I wanted to share with you today the projects that I did just yesterday at my Bloom Where You're Planted craft class. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. So as the name suggests, I used the Bloom Where You're Planted suite from the current annual catalog, which is I always have to think about this, 2021 to 2022 catalog. We're getting ready to retire that catalog, but thankfully some of my favorite products are carrying over, including this bundle with the Plentiful Plants stamp set, and let me get the name of the dies, the Perfect Plants dies. But the DSP from this suite, the paper lattices, that's all retiring. I think the paper lattices are actually on sale right now if you want to try to grab some of those. But let me show you what I made. I'm going to save the best projects for last. So after my class, I had a lot of scraps left over because I love this DSP. There's a whole sheet of just planters, a whole sheet of just plants, a whole sheet of both together. The dies cut out some of those. I did a lot of fussy cutting too. So with some of the leftovers that we didn't use for the class, I made a couple just very simple cards. My kind of theme for this class, besides just the suite, was simple, like basic white card bases, but some wows on the inside. So these first ones are truly simple inside and out. The last three that we actually did in the class, which I'll share with you, are kind of simple on the outside, hopefully wow on the inside. But this one just says, "You were there and I am very grateful" on the inside. This one has the same sentiment, but on the outside. And I just love that all you have to do is cut some of the plants and planters out of the DSP and make these like little clusters, and you get this beautiful but very simple card. I love using DSP. It's probably my favorite type of product. So again, just a simple little cluster of plants there. This one is a little note with the biggest thanks. And I love pairing that sentiment with the big thank you, because I feel like then that kind of makes it a little bit of a pun. This one's probably my favorite. A few more plants, kind of balancing out the card. Same sentiment on the inside, or outside and inside, I meant to say. And these are strips from the DSP that I actually cut the planters out of with the dies. So you have dies for all three of these pots. And then what I did was I flipped the DSP over so that you get this great leaf pattern from the back side. And then because these planters are all symmetrical, they still rest in their little spots that they were die cut out of. So hopefully you can see they're all popped up on dimensionals. So you can see a little bit of the basic white cardstock peeking underneath. And then just thank you, thank you, thank you. And I made one that was symmetrical, and then two that were a little wonky where everything's kind of leaning different directions. But again, just thank you, thank you, thank you. So some really versatile cards ready to go for gratitude. So these are the three that we shared in the class, that I shared in the class. So this first one is an easel card. I used the paper lattice and lots of, again, die cut and fussy cut out plants and planters. I love the macrame die cut and the little stand die cut especially, and then these little ones that have like the holes and the little lines in them, like up here as well. But anyway, I gave people lots that they could then just kind of play with where they wanted to place it on their lattice. And then this is an easel card. So it opens vertically instead of from the side, and then stands up like that. And on the inside you have "thank you so very much." And that's popped up on dimensionals to keep the card standing. So it's a good display card. And then of course you can write your message on the inside. You even have a little bit of that pretty back side of the DSP showing on the back. Or I told people they could use a piece of basic white and cover this whole card front to reinforce the DSP. But I found, especially with the paper lattice, you didn't need it. All right, this next one, I saw online somewhere, and when I went back to find it to recreate it, I couldn't. So whoever you are, I wanted to be able to give you credit. I couldn't find you again. I'm so sorry. If you watch this, feel free to say, "That was me." Or maybe multiple people have done this, but it's a tunnel card. So on the outside, just "You were there and I am very grateful." And then you get this great scene on the inside with the plant hanging in that tunnel space and a few extra plants. So again, a good display card. And then you could write your message on the back. Here's another version of that, just using a different brick background from the DSP. Same plants on the inside. And I loved putting the oval that is punched out from the middle here on the back. So you still get that like brick wall backdrop for your hanging plant. You do have to, the trick is you have to hang this a little off center so that it doesn't get squished when you fold your card and it doesn't show out the side. You can see this one actually came a little too far. That was the first one I did. This one I did a little better. I put it in so it didn't stick out the side. All right, and then this last one I learned from my upline, Bethany Barnard. I'm not sure where she saw it or if she created it herself. I wouldn't be surprised. She can do that. But this one says, again, a little note with the biggest thanks on the outside. I keep wanting to say inside for outside. Just a few little plants that I created from the Cajun Craze cardstock that coordinates. ran it through that brick and mortar embossing folder, and then took my basic white ink pad or I should say craft ink, white ink pad, and kind of dragged it across to create that whitewash look. These are some die cuts. And then on the inside, you get this potted succulent. And again, the thank you. So this mechanism is quite simple, although a little tricky. I'm always just wowed by these things, like how can paper do that? And even once I know how it works, I still don't understand how it works. But yeah, that's the version I made in the class. I used the garden green ink to kind of stain the edges of the die cuts. On this one, on my first one, which I made before the class, I actually stamped with the stamp set in that craft white ink. So you get just a little bit of that leaf pattern on the leaves. Someone else in the class, they didn't have the stamp set, so they took a white gel pen and drew in the lines, and it created a very different but very cool look. And so you could do this with flowers. You could do this with, what else? We were thinking of ideas. We were saying, someone said you could make it like a toolbox for Father's Day with tools coming out. You could do, I was saying like crafts. So it could be like a little cup holder for things like, you know, craft markers and paintbrushes and things like that. You could have craft coming out of it. These strips were extra stems from my succulent that were covering a mistake. So that's why this one looks a little different. But those last three are the ones we did in class. And then the others, like I said, we're just using the scraps and some basic white cardstock to create some quick thank you notes. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please click like and comment, and I'll reply. And the most helpful thing you can do is subscribe to more videos and share it with others you think may enjoy. But as always, thank you for watching, and happy crafting.